money's on the screen tonight. Secrets out in plain sight. Luxury homes at half the price. Making dreams.
Alright, you guys, so this video is about the social media. Recently I've just read that one of the countries, European countries, passed a ban on social media for the kids. And I think that's a great thing to have. Why? First of all, if you haven't noticed so far, it's actually an addiction. You can see like grown-ass people scrolling all day. That's an addiction, guys. If you don't understand it, it will consume you. Now, I decided to make a short video about what I think. It's a kind of sword with two edges. In the modern type of life, if you have a business, if you're living in a modern world, you cannot pretty much live without it. But on the other hand, if you overconsume it, it's going to consume you. You pretty much will end up probably, homeless, without a job. You will lose everything, maybe your friends even. So that's really important to understand how it works, how it started, and what we can do about it as a society. And I decided to share my experience. I lived in over 30 countries. I have a PhD in humanities. I'm not telling that it's going to help, but overall experience, overall background that I had, think that could help. Now you have to understand that social media is probably the oil of 21st century. That's an information data that is the most expensive thing that anyone can have. Why? Because it can overthrow the governments. We saw the Arab Spring, where pretty much everything started with Google employees sharing whatever. It can cause the wars. We can see on the YouTube, some people are bombing some cities on the eastern Ukraine, and then Russia started to bomb, and then it eventually becomes a war. Now, on the other side of the things, it just makes information to travel faster. About 100 years ago, 50 years ago, even 20 years ago, if something would happen on a certain part of the planet, you would not know about it unless you would watch the news on a certain time. Now it's like this, there's a earthquake in California. The next minute, people find out about it in the Eastern Europe. Or it's, war, someone throws a rocket in the Middle East. Same minute we find out about it here. Now, it's actually a drug that could prevent the illness, but it's also a drug that could cause the illness. Obviously, everything started with Facebook. No one would expect that Facebook would become whatever they are right now. I mean, there was a MySpace before that, and it pretty much was the same stuff. People would share their pictures. I think the thing that worked for the Facebook was the first that they were in Silicon Valley. There was just unlimited amount of money that went into that company that helped to purchase other companies like Instagram, WhatsApp. And as Gary Vaynerchuk mentioned, actually Facebook would become non-profitable if they would not buy Instagram back in the day. After Facebook, obviously the YouTube was the next platform. It's really important to understand that YouTube and Netflix are currently in the war. Although it's a little different concept, but pretty much they're fighting for the average view time. And eventually I think the YouTube will win, because all the kids that are growing up right now, they're watching YouTube. They don't even know what a Netflix is most of the time. And I'm not talking about the Disney Plus that will probably get sold to the YouTube eventually. Now, other thing that makes the YouTube important is that it belongs to Google, and it's just would pop up whatever you would search in Google. Eventually you would see the YouTube videos popping up, like how to do this, or how to find that thing. So the YouTube is also a search engine.
Thank you for watching, and I would like to mention that this video is sponsored by my company. We help landlords to maximize their rental income. Normally, we take the property, say it's been rented for $3,000. We'll help landlord to make about $5,000 and charge about 10% from the profits. This is what we do. If you guys interested, if you're a landlord and looking for that company that would help you with getting more rent, just letting you guys know, I'm also a realtor in California. Any part of California you're looking for real estate, property for yourself, live with a family, or for investment, I'm your guy. Feel free to hit me up in the DM.
This is what makes YouTube significant. Also, it's a kind of educational platform, because many universities, many colleges are using it for their content. You literally can learn everything from the YouTube. So I would say that current type of YouTube, if you would not consider Shorts, of course, which was borrowed from the Instagram, borrowed it as a Reels, and YouTube borrowed it as Shorts, but it's pretty much the same stuff that TikTok had. These two things, I would say, honestly, I think the Reels, Shorts, or TikTok videos, they are the worst part, because first of all, what they do to you, they shorten your attention span, which is already short. People don't have enough patience to watch videos that is more than 1 minute. But also what happens is it pretty much doesn't, gives you a brief information. Most of the time it's not certain. After AI came, most people just, in the third world countries started to produce fake videos, just copy pasting content. And, if you are not in this type of movement, if you're not in social media, you probably not even understand whenever you're watching artificial intelligence speaking or a real person. So that kind of messes up things. It's getting really dangerous. You have to be really careful. Especially a couple of days ago, I believe there was a law passed in California that would make illegal to do artificial intelligence created videos, which is actually a great thing, I think, because you never know who is a deep fake and who is not. We're getting into the deep waters that we actually never been to as a humanity, and this is going to be very interesting. The third stage of the social media, as we know, it started after TikTok came. No one took TikTok seriously. Literally, maybe just Gary Vee. And prior to that, there was a Snapchat. If you guys still remember that, it was a platform where you could just record the stories that they call stories right now. Eventually, YouTube took it, and obviously the Instagram, Facebook took it. We would just probably just not need Snapchat anymore because everybody have that right now. I think eventually TikTok will end as a Snapchat, especially considering that they are obligated to sell their United States business to the third-party company, which is going to be either probably Facebook or YouTube or some other billionaire like Elon Musk who bought Twitter. Obviously, the Twitter is completely a different story. The thing with the Twitter is, and that's really interesting, it's really popular mostly in the United States. If you would go to the Europe, Eastern Europe, Middle East, no one even uses that. I mean, probably a couple of official people, just to disperse, to send their message overboard, but that's it. Now, TikTok changed everything because they introduced the Reels. That was, and I believe there was a research done, just you can Google it, that says it works with a certain areas of the brain, the dopamine producers, that the heavy drugs like heroin, cocaine works. So pretty much whenever you scroll, you get that dopamine shot. And it's especially dangerous with the senior people and the kids, because what happens when they scroll, they end up getting that dopamine and they just, they can scroll endlessly. Happened to me actually a couple times. I have a bad sleep, and especially when you're going to preparing to the bed, make sure guys put the phone somewhere that you would not be able to get it. Otherwise you would just keep scrolling, and couple times I ended up with my phone's battery dying. Otherwise I would just scroll after 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. Now this is definitely dangerous, and I think that there should be some prevention. And now I'm approaching the part that I believe it was yesterday or 2 days ago. I think it was Sweden, I'm not sure, but some European country passed a ban for the social media in the schools. I think this is something that every country has to do. You cannot use social media before you're 18. First of all, you will get distracted. And obviously, I don't mean the educational material on the YouTube platform or Google Classroom. I believe that's one of the platforms that Google has. But the platforms like TikTok, the platform like Instagram. I believe it was last year or 2 years ago, there was a concert and it was going live on TikTok, and China just banned straightforward. There was a concert from Megan Thee Stallion, a hip-hop performer. Her performance was so under 18 type of thing that they had to ban it. Is it good? Obviously it's not. You literally can go to the Instagram or TikTok page of some girl who's 18, 19, and she will just take some pictures where she's half nude, and she will be making half of the salary of whatever the businessman or any college professor makes. Of course, it's not bad for her, but it's really bad for the people who are following her, especially considering the porn sites, if you know what I'm talking about, which are available. Literally, according to the research, every third content that is being searched for is under 18. So imagine, guys, it's like this. You can, at age that we were growing up, it was literally impossible to type that type of content. Now it's like this. You want it, you go to Google, type whatever you want, and you get it. It's really dangerous because it will set up a generation that will have wrong expectation from the opposite gender, and all this gender mess that we already have in the United States, it is somehow related to all this social media thing, availability, There should be some kind of borders when you would be able to reach to the certain type of content, especially if you're underage. I think this should be passed on the governmental level. I understand that there's gazillion problems that the United States government is dealing with, but this is one of them. Trust me, if we want to have a healthy generation, if you want to have a good country, at least at the level that we have right now or better, we have to make sure what our future generations' brains are consuming. Anyways, let me know in the comments if you guys agree about this video. Hope you like it. See you on the next one. Bye.
Making dreams all so nice. Click that play button now. He'll show you all the how. Mansions and condos, wow. Afford it all with his know-how.